earthquake rocking the Fox News empire. Tonight, a billion-dollar case putting real pressure on the very top of the Fox News company for the first time, hitting Rupert Murdoch himself, the right-wing billionaire who's long wielded power and enjoyed it. And he said so for about 7 decades.
Do you like the feeling of power you have?
Well, there's only one honest answer to that, of course, and that's yes.
Murdoch deploys Fox News and his tabloids, the New York Post and the iconic Wall Street Journal, with that power that he admits he enjoys to shape and sometimes all but run America's Republican Party and, of course, impact conservative discourse in this country. Now he's under legal pressure because Fox aired falsehoods and lies about the 2020 election and allegedly pushed the specific lies that they knew were false at the time, which paved the way and built the support for many of the people who then showed up at the insurrection. The company hit with this billion-dollar lawsuit. We've covered that before on this program. It's from a voting machine company that alleges defamation. Now Murdoch faces more hard evidence on his alleged role. The lawyers he faces in today's deposition allege that he fed the false storyline about election fraud in America, that his anchors repeatedly and knowingly lied about the fraud, recklessly disregarding the truth, and that Murdoch knew but encouraged on-air personalities to perpetuate the baseless claims and lies, and that he, Murdoch, called the shots directly. They allege he was in the loop on this.
Dominion came under heavy fire after allegations that their machines caused thousands of votes in one Michigan county to be switched from Donald Trump to Joe Biden.
The machines can be hacked. There's no question about that. Their machines can be hacked.
The president's lawyers alleging a company called Dominion, which they say started in Venezuela with Cuban money and with the assistance of Smartmatic software, a backdoor is capable of flipping votes.
We have evidence of how they flipped the votes, how it was designed to flip the votes.
No, they didn't. They didn't have that evidence. Lies. We showed you that as a matter of reporting, but stamped it what it is, which is defamation evidence. If you just joined me, if you just turned on your TV, none of that was offered for the truth of the matter asserted. So these lawyers will be grilling Rupert Murdoch on what you just saw, those anchors' claims. And he can prep and duck, but this is perhaps a rare time where he may be outgunned because these lawyers grilling him have secret evidence and new testimony from many of those same hosts who you see on your screen. And they were told, warned, and even hammered about the ongoing lies at the time. And that's what also makes this case a little different. This wasn't exactly some huge debatable thing. Rational people knew that election wasn't stolen here on planet Earth. Fox hosts evinced a great knowledge about that, many of them frantically texting the Trump White House to rail against the insurrection as it happened on January 6th, just as Trump loyalists like Bill Barr told then President Trump, as well as investigators, that all of this crap that is the core of the Fox defamation suit had zero basis, none.
The Dominion voting machines, which I found to be among the most disturbing allegations, disturbing in the sense that I saw absolutely zero basis for the allegations. I told them that it was crazy stuff.
You know, the votes in Dominion, they say, are counted in foreign countries.
A full victory here with Rupert Murdoch testifying today could rattle Fox and other entities. It could redraw the lines. So that's a lot in this special report. You might say, okay, Ari, if you lay that all out, isn't this a slam dunk case? No. Under the law, it is not enough to prove that Fox was incorrect, which they were. These cases can be hard because, to simplify it, many falsehoods and even some deliberate lies get First Amendment protection here in America. And then you have the fact that some of Fox's defense could sound relatable. They insist covering a president's voter fraud allegations are newsworthy. But these lawyers who have Murdoch on the run today, they have an answer for that, too. They say the evidence meets a higher standard that's required of Fox's malice, that the effort was a knowing lie for improper, malicious political ends, and the Fox hosts were in on the con. From the hosts all the way to the people they worked with, the con artists like Giuliani, who wasn't credible at the time, isn't credible afterward. He lost his ability to practice law over this, and by the way, wasn't credible by Giuliani's own standard. In fact, when Rudy Giuliani was recently forced under oath in a related case, this video first reported by CNN, Giuliani admitted he did not even investigate his own outlandish and false claims as he pushed them.
Sometimes I go and look myself online when stuff comes up. This time I didn't have the time to do it. It's not my job in a fast-moving case to go out and investigate every piece of evidence that's given to me. Otherwise, you're never going to write a story. You never come to a conclusion.
False. And the former U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Manhattan knows that is false. As a lawyer, as well as a person with legal obligations in public speaking and using the airwaves, he exactly has that obligation. And it is part of the standard of defamation to have basically given up on any pretense or effort to find out what he was saying was true if he recklessly disregarded that. And it looks like he did with unhinged claims like these.
Dominion and Smartmatic, the connection to Hugo Chavez, it's a highly inaccurate machine, phantom votes. Those are the ballots that were stuck in the machine 8 times, 9 times, 10 times.
Our vote is owned by 2 Venezuelans who were allies of Chavez.
Now, if they ran such a clean election, why wouldn't they make all the machines available immediately?
Pressed on some of those claims, Giuliani waffled. He admitted he didn't know if they were true. Now, this case is not against Giuliani. It uses his lies and approach as a kind of evidence that any responsible reporter would need to weigh. You might imagine someone like Sean Hannity trying to duck here and say, well, his job is to simply interview the president's lawyer, who's also his ally, and maybe he doesn't know what's true. But you can only dodge so much under oath. And let me tell you this in our special report tonight. Hannity has come out on this, and he's thrown some Trump people under the bus, reportedly admitting when it comes to the election claims and Trump's big lie, I did not believe it for 1 second. That very newsworthy admission and headline is from this case. Hannity forced into that under oath in the same process that Mr. Murdoch is now facing. It looks damning. So how do we tie this all together tonight? I mean, this matters. And there may not be one simple solution or some single lyric to sum it all up. Although in the song Sly Fox, Nas did warn, what's the Fox characteristic? Censored misinformation, pimp the station, overstimulation. Fox relies on the idiot box. When this ignorant-ish gun stop? End quote. Bars. So when is it going to stop? I'll tell you when. When there are consequences. That's the only way to stop the powerful from abusing power. It is an axiom that we all live with and we know about even as the technology and the mechanisms change. If the powerful people are doing this stuff for their own ends, political, malicious, media, propaganda, and personal enrichment, if they make money off this, you can bet they're going to continue doing what they've already been doing to you, to us, to your minds, to our democracy, unless this system stands up and finds a way to punish them. And boy, $1 billion can get a hold of their attention, even for people who have more than $1 billion, like Mr. Murdoch. There's also a wider dynamic here. Fox and some of these hosts hide behind their press passes when there is trouble or heat on them. And by the way, the press in America have legal protections, whether they're conservative, liberal, neutral, or whatever. But some of them want it both ways. Hannity going out and endorsing Trump at a rally, acting as one of the most famous pivotal arms of the Trump campaign in real time, not any kind of journalist, a media teammate. He spoke at the rally. He endorsed him. And then flipping when there's heat. Now, Sean Hannity didn't invent that, but his boss did. It's the Rupert Murdoch playbook. It's why I'm giving so much time in our coverage tonight to this issue, because Mr. Murdoch, in his 90 years on this earth, has repeatedly expanded his power by basically finding ways to take up more than one spot, by bending or sometimes breaking the rules, as you saw in England, using his power to fend off the few legal or government pressures that might constrain someone as mighty as him. And that becomes easier when you are in bed with various governments around the world. This matters for our democracy in this country and, by the way, some other places around the world. Will this time be any different? The answer matters.